As a data analyst, being able to create aesthetically pleasing and user-friendly dashboards and visualizations is crucial. Hey, my name is Mo Chen, and in today's video, I'll show you how to create this cool Tableau dashboard that uses this calendar widget as your main filter, a line chart, a map, histograms, and also a heat map. The links to all of the resources you need to recreate this data visualization project are in the description below. Follow along with me and build my visuals, or alternatively, feel free to put your own twist on the dashboard and create something different. If you do put your own twist on it, leave the link to your dashboard in the comment section below. I'd love to check it out. And just a quick word about Pecan, the sponsor of this video. Today, we're talking about Tableau, and here's a twist. Wouldn't it be awesome for data analysts to add predictions about the future to visualizations instead of just showing data from the past? Pecan is a predictive analytics platform built for data analysts. It's powerful and easy to use. Let me quickly show you how. Once you sign up, you can connect to your data by importing your CSV files or by using one of the many connectors available. What I really like about Pecan is that there is no data prep required at all, and it can deal with billions of records. So you can throw pretty much anything at it. You can then use Pecan's query editor to transform your data into an AI-ready dataset. All you need is basic SQL knowledge to create powerful machine learning models, as Pecan will do the heavy lifting for you. Click Run to generate a preview, Validate to run data science validations, and then train your model. You can use Pecan's interactive dashboards to get insights into your model's performance. The dashboard has various metrics such as precision and recall, threshold configuration, a confusion matrix, and feature importance, so you can make the model fit your business needs and also understand how it made decisions. So, if you're interested, sign up for Pecan for free using the link in the description below. Okay, so first of all, let me go through what we'll be building exactly within this dashboard. So you can see that all my filters are on the left here, and the main filter is going to be this calendar widget right here. So within here, from the drop-down, I can select my month, say for example, August 2014, and you can see that this filtered all of my visuals. And then within this calendar widget, I can select a specific day, 11th of August, for example. And if I click on this, this will only filter the bottom 4 charts. So let me just click on the 11th again to undo my filter. And then underneath, I have another 3 filters: year built, square foot living, and square foot lot. So all I have to do here is drag the slider, and then the bottom 4 charts will be filtered based on my condition. So let me undo this, select everything, and let me move on to the actual dashboard. So within the dashboard here, you can see that we have 6 visuals. We have a line chart with the average house price, and then we have a map next to it where I drag the average price onto the color shelf. We also have 3 histograms, one for house prices, one for the distribution of bedrooms, and then another one for the distribution of bathrooms. And then right here, we have a heat map where you have the view versus the condition. So basically, we have 5 categories for the view, going from no view to excellent. And then we have a couple categories for the condition as well, going from fair, badly worn, to very good. But I think there's actually one that's even worse than fair, which is poor. So let me just select another month, maybe June, for example. And there we go. You can see that the condition of the house goes from poor all the way to very good. Okay, so now that we've gone through what we'll be building in this Tableau project, let's actually build all of this stuff. So go to the top left, select File, and then hit New. Okay, so once your new file opens up, go to the top left and click Connect to Data, and the file format will be an Excel file, so click on Microsoft Excel, and the link to the data source and any other resources you may need for this project will be in the description below. So let me just click on house data and wait for the data to load. You see that our data has loaded. So let me just quickly cover the data set real quick. So we have the ID column with the transaction ID, and then we have the date, the price of the property, then we have the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and then we have the square foot living, and then the square foot lot, which is basically the size of the garden. And then we have the number of floors, whether the property is waterfront or not. And then we have the various categories for view and condition. We also have the grade of the property, the higher, the better. We have the year in which the property was built, and then we have the zip code, the latitude, and then the longitude. So let me just move on to sheet 1 and build our first visual, which is going to be the line chart. All right, so first things first, let me just go to date. And then currently you can see that it's in text format with this ABC symbol here. Right click and then go to change data type and then click on date. And then now you see this little calendar icon here. So you know it's in date format. Let me right click on date and then drag it onto columns and then hit OK. And then let me go to price, right click, drag it onto rows, and then select average, hit OK. So now we have a line chart. I'm not the biggest fan of this blue color here, so I will go onto the color and change this. More colors, and then I'll just go with some kind of purple. I actually know the RGB for this, 60, 20, 100. I will hit OK, and I think this looks a little bit nicer now. I'm also going to give this a proper title, so I will call this Daily Average House Sales Price, and hit OK. Then I'm going to right click here, format, and I want all of the fonts to be in this purple color as well. And then I would like no grid lines, so let me just select none here. None ref lines, I also don't want any of those. Drop lines, axis rulers, and axis ticks. I don't want any of those. So now I have this nice line chart here. Okay, so let's move on to the next visual, which is going to be the map. And actually, let me just go back onto sheet 1 and give that a more meaningful name. So I'll just call this line chart. And then I'll call sheet 2. You can just double click on the sheet. I'll call this the map. Okay, so luckily Tableau is really smart. And then if you have location data, Tableau will use geocoding, and basically it'll just create the map for you. So you can see here that our latitude, longitude, and zip code columns, you see this little earth or map symbol next to it. You know that Tableau will be able to use geocoding to create a map for you. So we will be using zip code, and I'll just come here and double click on zip code, and then you can see the map generated automatically. Now, currently I have nothing on the map because my location is set to the UK, and clearly I'm working with US data here. So let me just go to the bottom right, click on 70 unknown here, edit locations, and then switch my country from United Kingdom to USA, and then click OK right here. And all of a sudden I have a map. So now let me just go to the top here, select map, and then background layers, and let me choose streets, for example. I like this a little bit better. And I want the color to be based on the average price. So let me just go to price, right click, drag it onto the color shelf, select average, hit OK. So now you see that I have this nice map here where the color corresponds to the average price. So basically the higher the average price, the darker the color at the moment. I'm not a big fan of this color specifically. So I'll go on to the color shelf, go on to edit colors, and instead of automatic, I will select sunrise, sunset, diverging, hit apply, and then you can see how it looks at the moment. I quite like this, so I will hit OK on this one. I will also go to the top right here and remove this average price card. Let me hide the card, and there we go. This is our map visual. So I can also give this a permanent name rather than just a sheet name. Let me just call it map. Nothing really changed. And we have our second visual. So let's move on to our third visual, which is going to be the distribution of the house prices. So let me come down here to the bottom left, click on new worksheet. And the easiest way to create a histogram is just to go to your measure. So I'll click on price, and then let me go to the top right here, go to show me, and then I can just click on histogram. And all of a sudden, Tableau just generates a histogram for you. And I quite like this because it's quick and easy. I'm not a big fan of these colors again, so let me go onto the color shelf and then let me just select some kind of purple. I think this is actually a bit too bright, so let me go into it and just make it a little bit darker. There we go. I quite like this. I think this looks okay. If I look at the y-axis here, I don't like this count of price title, so let me double click on this. And instead of count of price, let me call this frequency. And I think it looks better now. Also, I'm going to rename the title to something a little bit more meaningful, distribution of house prices, for example. Click OK, right click on the visual, format, and I will give everything this dark purple color. And then let me also remove all of the lines. So let me just go on to the format lines bit. I don't want any grid lines, no zero lines, trend lines, ref lines, drop lines, axis rulers, or axis text. I don't want any of those. And now you see we have a nice visual here. When you look at the tooltip, it still says count of price, which I'm not a big fan of. So I'm going to come to the tooltip here. And instead of saying count of price, I'm just going to call this frequency and hit OK. And now if I hover again, you see here that it just says frequency. Okay, so this is our third visual. And let me just rename this sheet again to something more meaningful. So I'll call this histogram house price. Okay, moving on to the fourth visual, let me just create a new worksheet again. And really simple, this is going to be the distribution of the bedrooms. So again, I can just go to the number of bedrooms, and then you can actually click Control or Command 1 to bring up this little window at the right for you, and then click on the histogram, and then you can see that this has been generated for you. Now, instead of reformatting this whole chart the same way we did with the distribution of the house prices, you can just go back to your histogram with the house prices, right-click, and then copy formatting, and then you go onto your new sheet, and then you can just paste your formatting. And you can see that it's in exactly the same format. So again, I'm going to change my y-axis title to frequency. And then I'll also give this sheet a meaningful name, like distribution of bedrooms. And then hit OK, and then let me just rename the sheet here to something more meaningful. So I'll call this hist bedrooms. Okay, so this is our fourth visual at the moment, and let's just quickly build the last histogram. So again, let me just create a new worksheet and then go to bathrooms, and then go to the top right here, show me, click on histogram, and then we can give this sheet a meaningful name. So I'll call this hist bathrooms. And then I can copy and paste the formatting again from the previous chart. So copy formatting, and then I just need to paste it in. And you can see that it's in the same format at the moment. So I can, again, adjust my y-axis title. Instead of count of bathrooms, I would like it to say frequency. And then let me just adjust the title as well. So this is going to be called the distribution of bathrooms. Hit OK. And then probably one thing I didn't do here and on the bedrooms histogram is the tooltip. So let me go into the tooltip, and instead of count of bathrooms, let me call this frequency. Hit OK. And then let me go back to the bedrooms histogram again. Let me go to tooltip and then change this to frequency. And that's it. We have 5 visuals going on now. So let's move on to the 6th one, which is going to be the heat map. So again, let me move to the bottom here, new worksheet, and then let me call this worksheet heat map. And then now what I'll do is I'll put the view on the rows right here, and then let me grab the condition and put it on the columns. And then I need to reorganize the order here for the view and for the condition as well, because we want basically the best view with the best condition to appear in the top right. So let me go to view, and then let me go to sort, and then manual sort. There we go. And we want to go from no view and then fair, and then we want average, and then we want excellent to be the best at the top. And then let me do the same for condition. So the best condition has to be on the right. So let me go manual again. And then very good at the moment is on the right. We want poor to be on the very left. And then fair, average, good, and very good. So now we have the skeleton of the heat map, but we need to populate this heat map with values and colors. So let me just go grab the average price, right click, drag it onto the color shelf. Let me select average, hit OK. And then also let me grab the average price again, right click, drag it onto the labels, and then click average. And then now Tableau switches the marks to automatic. But if you just switch back to square, now you have a nice heat map going on. Again, I'm not a big fan of this color, so I'll go onto the color shelf and then I'll select purple, hit apply, and I quite like this color. Let me go to the top right here and let me remove this card. And there we go. We have the heat map right here as well. Now, another thing I would like to remove is this view and condition title here. So let me just right click, hide field labels, and then let me right click and then hide the field labels again. And for the title, I know it already says heat map, but let me just call it view versus condition heat map. Hit OK. Okay, so now we've built the core 6 visuals right here for our dashboard. And let me just remind you what they look like on the dashboard. So you can see that we've built these 6 visuals right now. So what we need to do now is actually move on and build all of the filters. So let's just do that. So back in our working file, let me again start a new worksheet, and then we're going to build our calendar widget first. So to do this, let me go to my date column, right click, and then drag it into columns. And from here, I will select weekday, hit OK. And then let me go back to the date column again, right click, drag it into rows. And this time I will select week and then hit OK. So the next thing I'll do is I'll again go into date, drag it onto the filters, and I will select month and year. Hit next, and let me just pick something, July 2014, for example. And there we go. We have July 2014 only now. So the next thing I'll do is I'll drag the average price onto the color shelf, select average, hit OK. And then after that, I will right click and grab the date, drag it onto the label. And this time I will select day. So let me just hit that. And there we go. We have a calendar right now. And the marks went to automatic again, so make sure to select square. And now we have some sort of a heat map here, where basically the higher the price, the darker the color. Again, I'm not a big fan of this blue, so I will change it to purple. Let me just go in here, select purple, hit OK. And there we go. I quite like this color now. And actually, maybe I can make it a little bit better. Let me just do custom sequential. And there we go. I think it's even better now. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is I'll remove these labels, hide field labels, and I'll also do the same here, hide field labels. And then I'm not a big fan of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as in the entire day written out. So let me just right click, format, and then right here in dates, I'm going to select abbreviation. And then now you can see I only have the abbreviation of the days here, which is good. And then I don't want the week to show, so let me just untick the show header bit. And now we have a nice little calendar going on here. Let me go to the top right and remove the average price card. Let me hide the card, and there we go. That's it. So we have a couple other filters that we need to use, which is going to be the year built, square foot living, and square foot lot columns. So let me grab the year built, drag it into filters, and then hit OK. And there we go. We have the year built in here. And then let me just show the filter. And then you can see the filter at the top right here, and you can drag this slider along. Let me also grab the square foot living, drag it into filters, all values, yes, range, yes. And then again, let me just go on square foot living and show the filter. Now I'll do the exact same with square foot lot, drag it into the filters, hit next, range of values, yes, hit OK. And then go to square foot lot and then show the filter. So now you can see that I have these filters here. I also have the month filter here, and then I have my calendar widget. So let me hide the title. I won't need that. And let me call this worksheet calendar. Okay, so now we have all of the visuals we need to build our dashboard. So let me go to the bottom here, and instead of selecting a new worksheet this time, I will select new dashboard. And what I like to do here in terms of dashboard size is I go to the size, I select fixed first, and I go with generic desktop, and then I move on to range, and the minimum size, I just leave it at the generic desktop, but the maximum, I will just untick it. So the moment you see I untick this, you can see that the dashboard shows on my entire screen, which is good. So basically, if you have a bigger screen, it'll just expand, but the minimum size is going to be the generic desktop size. So first of all, I'm going to come here and drag a vertical container in here. And within this vertical container, I will drag text onto it, and I will call this filters. I'm going to give it Tableau bold 16, and I will make it purple. And in the middle, hit OK. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll drag a blank object right here, and then I'll edit the height. I'll make it 10, go into layout, and for background, I'll give it a purple background. So it's going to be a nice line to divide our filters, basically. And then next up, let me just drag in my calendar. And you can see here, I have the little calendar going on here. So the next thing I'll do is remove the title from here. I have all my filters, and let me just drag on the month and year filter as well, which is right here. And let me just make this into a single value dropdown, move it on top, and then let me grab the year built, move it underneath, square foot living, let me grab that, move it underneath, square foot lot, move it underneath. Let me just select all the values as I go along. And basically, this is going to be my filter section. Now I can rename the title here by double clicking. So I will just say select month from dropdown and day from calendar. Let me make this purple also. So I'll select this purple color. And then for the year built, I'll also change the title. So instead of year built, I'll say select year built. It's good to be very precise with the instructions. And then square foot living, I'll do the exact same. Select square foot living, make it purple. And then square foot lot, again, select square foot lot. I will make it purple, hit OK, and there we go. These are our filters done right now. So the next thing I'll do, again, I'll grab a vertical container. I'll drag it next to the one that I already have. And I'll drag a text object within here. And I'll call this King County, Washington Health Sales Dashboard. So I'll make this Tableau bold 16 and purple, hit OK. Let me actually make the dashboard obviously bigger, and let me drag a blank object here. Again, let me make this the height 10, and then I'm going to go to layout, background, select the purple, so I have a nice divider line, back into the dashboard bit, and now I will drag a horizontal container right here, and within the horizontal container, I'll drag my line chart, and then I'll put the map next to it. There we go. So now let me just quickly do a little bit of formatting here so you can see that my calendar doesn't exactly look the best. Let me drag it down a little bit more, click into it, and at the top here, instead of standard, go entire view, and I think it looks much nicer now. Also, I have noticed that my titles for these charts don't look the best. So what I can do is I can actually go to the top left, go to dashboard, and go to format. And within here, I can change the worksheet titles. So instead of Tableau book, I want Tableau bold. Let me make it 12 and purple. And you can see that it looks nicer now. So the next thing I'll do is let me grab the distribution of the house prices. Let me just put it underneath. And then next to the distribution of the house prices, I'll drag my view versus condition heat map. And you can see that, again, this is in standard view, so make it entire view, and it'll just look nicer. And then underneath these, I'm going to drag the distribution of bedrooms, and then the distribution of the bathrooms. So there we go. That's about it. Let me just quickly do a little bit of formatting. Let me align these charts right here. Let's look through our visuals, whether or not they look good. Yes, they do. And the only thing we need to do now is make sure that these filters right here on the left, whenever I actually change them, they actually impact the charts here. So what we want to do is, let me just drag in my finalized dashboard right here. What we want to do, and actually here, the one thing I didn't do is for the size, let me just untick the maximum, so just to make it look a little bit nicer. So what we want to do is we want this month filter at the top to impact all of our visuals. So you can see that as I'm changing this month filter, all of my visuals are changing, but then the rest of the filters, so whenever I click into a specific day within the calendar, or when I select my year build, square foot living, or square foot lot, I only want them to affect the bottom 4 visuals. So how do I do that? Let me just drag the finalized dashboard away. And the first thing we'll do is, let me just go into my month dropdown, more options, apply to worksheets, and go on to selected worksheets. And within here, I will just tick all of them and then hit OK. So now you can see that as I change to October 2014, my visuals changed. As I change to December 2014, my visuals changed. And let me just pick another month, April 2015. And you can see that all of these visuals are changing, which is good. Now, next up, I want the specific day to also impact my visuals, but only the bottom 4 visuals. So whenever I click into the calendar, say, for example, if I click on the 9th of April, the bottom 4 charts should be changing. So the only thing you have to do here is go to this Use as Filter and click it. So let me just click on the 11th of April now. And you can see that the bottom 4 charts changed, but the problem is the top 2 changed as well. Now that's not good because I didn't want that. So now what you need to do is go to Dashboard on the top left and then go to Dashboard Actions. And you can see that we have one action here, which is the filter that we just generated. And then go to Edit. And once you're in here, all you have to do is untick within the target sheets what you don't want to filter. So what I don't want to filter is going to be my map and my line chart, and then I go to OK, hit OK again, and now if I click on, say, for example, the 20th of April, you can see that the top 2 charts didn't move, but the bottom 4 are constantly moving as I'm choosing a new day. So that's working. Now moving on to these 3 filters, year build, square foot living, and square foot lot. They'll work on the same basis as the month filter here at the top. So what you need to do is go here to more options, apply to worksheets, selected worksheets, and let me just tick all of them first and then just untick line chart and map, hit OK. Let me do the same for square foot living. So apply to worksheets, selected. Let me select all worksheets, untick line chart, map, hit OK. And then let me go to square foot lot, go to more options, apply to worksheets, selected worksheets, again, tick worksheets, untick line chart, map, hit OK. So now let me just test these. Say, for example, if I change the year built right here, you can see the bottom 4 charts moving, which is good. Let me do the same with square foot living. So let me just drag the slider. Again, this is working. Square foot lot. And this is working as well, as you can see. Okay, so let me just quickly look through my dashboard once again, just to review that everything looks good. Let me check the tooltips in the line chart. Yeah, that looks good. Let me check the map, zip codes and average prices. View and condition looks good to me as well. Distribution of house prices, it does say frequency, the tooltip here says frequency as well, and here as well, so that looks good. And I think maybe another thing I could do is format the square foot living and the square foot lot with a comma for the 1000 separator. So let me just go back to any of my worksheets really. And then within here, go on to square foot living, right click, and then change data type, or rather default properties, number format, go to number custom. I don't want any decimal places, include the 1000 separator, hit OK. And then let me go on to square foot lot, right click, default properties, number format, and then go to number custom. And then you want no decimal places, and then make sure you include the thousands separator. Hit OK. Let me go back onto my dashboard. And now you can see that these values, the 7,480 has a comma here, and then this 1,651,359 also has a comma here. So that's it. That's basically the entire dashboard done. Let me rename this dashboard worksheet into something a little bit more meaningful. I'll call this King County House Sales. And the way you can easily publish your dashboard is if you just go to the top left here, File, and then you go Save to Tableau Public. I'm already signed into Tableau Public here, so now the next thing I have to do is just give it a name. So King County House Sales. And then if I hit save, I'm just gonna push this into the cloud so that anybody can view it if I send them the link. And there you go. You can see that my dashboard was successfully uploaded into the cloud. Let me just test my filters again. With the month and the year first, you can see that all 6 charts are moving. Let me just pick a different month, November 2014. Again, all of my visuals are being filtered. Click into a specific day, say for example, the 9th of November. Yes, the bottom 4 charts are moving. Let me pick the 19th of November. Again, this is working. And let me just test the sliders real quick. So year built, yep, that looks good. Square foot living, yep, also looks good to me. And then let me just move the square foot lot slider as well. Did anything change? Yes, things are changing, so that's good. And this is how easy it is to basically just push your project into the cloud. If you like this video, you should check out some of my other videos right here. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.